Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Thank you, Dev. So yesterday we saw this. Only human beings are not programmed. We're doing the 48th verse. We're talking about yoga karmasu kaushalam. So basically, kaushalam is discretion in action, not skill in action. And we looked at how that in that story, that person who covets the neighbor's money, if he takes the result of his stealing with prasada, as a prasad, with prasada buddhi, does it amount to karma yoga? The answer is no, because what he's doing is not according to dharma. So karma yoga entails that whatever our actions are needs to be following dharma. And everything in creation has its own dharma. And this dharma can be samanya dharma. It is not something that you need to be educated about. It is something that is already, it's common sense dharma. But according to time, place, and situations, there can be some vishesha dharma. Basically, you do unto others what you want them to do to you. And then, because he, the whole world, universe is pervaded by the Lord. So whatever we do, when it amounts to worship, it is when we do it recognizing him as the creator, as the law of dharma, law of karma, then we are worshipping him. See, the laws that are constant, instinctively known by animals are known to us by our common sense. The laws of dharma are also known to us in the same way. Without any education whatsoever, without being taught, we know what is right and wrong. Although this knowledge is generally called conscience, it is actually our simple common sense knowledge of dharma and adharma, what is right and wrong. It is basic knowledge that everyone has about a fact that is already there in the creation. Just as other laws exist as a part of the creation, the law of dharma also exists as a part of the creation. If the Lord is the creator and the creation is non separate from the creator, then the law of dharma, being a part of creation, is also non separate from Ishvara. Therefore, dharma becomes Ishvara. The law of karma also becomes Ishvara in the same way. This is why we can worship the Lord as dharma, and we have even given him two hands and two legs in the form of Rama. So we did this yesterday. I'm just going on doing a little recap. So then I'm just going to go forward. Same with Krishna. So thus we look at the Lord from various aspects in the creation and represent those aspects with many different gods called Devatas. What happens when I look upon Dharma as Ishvara? If I merely conform to Dharma, I am an ethical person. But if I look upon Dharma as the Lord, I worship that Lord by doing what is to be done by me at a given time and place. Dharma is something already established, and I come to sense it. Therefore, what is to be done by me, I do. Krishna says that by doing the karma that is to be done by us, we are worshipping Him. How can that be? This is also something we must know. And then we saw how everything in creation has its own dharma. I will repeat this again. With reference to this cycle of creation, just give me a minute, just a second. So, with reference to the cycle of creation, the Lord is the creator. The world is born of him and sustained by him. It is not that he created the world and then went to sleep. The creation is on. Every moment, new cells are born, new things are born. You yourself are born, and new children are born. A continual process of creation, srishti, existence or sustenance, sthiti, and dissolution, samhara, is going on. So the srishti, sthiti, and samhara is continual process. The second, a recognized unit of time, is born, and as it is born, it is, and it is also gone. This born is gone is a continuous process. The various living beings on this planet, trees, insects, animals, and human beings, all do exactly what is expected of them. In this way, everything goes well. A tree that has to change its colors before winter comes does so, and it keeps doing so because it is a sugar maple tree, and that is what a sugar maple tree has to do. Being programmed, a tree does exactly what it has to do. If it has to make chlorophyll, it makes chlorophyll. If it has to take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, it does exactly what it has to do. This is why a sugar cane continues to be sweet and a lime continues to be sour. All vegetation grows upon the same earth and may even belong to the same species. Still, one may be sour and the other sweet. If, for example, a particular orange happens to be a lemon. An orange is an orange and a lemon is a lemon. If one orange turns out to be a lemon, there is a reason for it. It is because a certain programming is there. It is not that an orange tree decided to have some fun, wanting to see the face of the person who bites into a certain orange and discovers it to be a lemon. The tree does not make any such decision to produce a sour orange. Being programmed as it behaves and contributes to the creation exactly as it must, because the creation is on. Ishvara himself is in the form of the very world, the very creation. Therefore, every blade of grass is what it is, and it is Ishvara. Everything in the vegetable kingdom is Ishvara's creation, and having a particular form does exactly what is expected of it, because members of the botanical world do not have free wills. The world of animals is the same. A snail is always a snail. An oyster is an oyster. A jackal is a jackal. A lion is a lion. A cow is a cow. And a turkey is a turkey. All of them are exactly the same. They do not call themselves snails, lions, and turkeys.
காசுபோது நீ சாப்பிடுறியா எனக்கு பசிக்கலக்கா சரி நான் 7 மணிக்கு வந்துட்டு
They do not call themselves snails, lions, and turkeys. A cock will fight like a cock. That is why it is a cock. Similarly, monkeys behave like monkeys, exactly as they should, programmed as they are. They all seem to be fine and are intelligent enough. Even turkeys know how to survive when left to their own devices. The fact that they cannot survive the month of November is only due to the way people choose to celebrate Thanksgiving. So, although they're programmed, they have that intelligence to survive. They know how to survive when left to their own devices. Only human beings are not programmed. It is only when you come to human beings, that even a small child, that you find a difference. When you call a puppy, it wags its tail and comes every time because it connects your calling it by name with a cookie or some other treat in your hand. But if you call your own young child by the same name, whether you hold out a cookie or not, he or she may or may not come. Why? Because the child is much more than a pup. He or she is a complete person with a will of his or her own, asserted from childhood onwards. This is always a problem for parents, especially when they want the child to perform for guests, for instance. If the child is at all concerned about what others will think, there is no way he or she will perform. Even as adults, most of our worries are based on what others will think, a problem not shared with other living beings. When a cow wants to make a noise, it does so without bothering about what anyone will think. If a dog wants to bark, a donkey wants to bray, or a lion wants to roar, they too do not concern themselves with what others will think. Wherever there is water, all the frogs in the vicinity will gather every evening and put up a concert. The racket they create is so dreadful that you cannot sleep. But the frogs are not at all concerned with what you or anyone else thinks of their music. Only human beings have this problem because they have a free will and a self image, half of which depends on what others think. Therefore, they are entirely different and are not going to do exactly what is to be done unless they decide to do so. So, human beings have a free will and a self image, and they have this decision making capacity. In the process of growth, a person picks up hundreds of raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. Such fancies are always there, and we find that convenience is usually the order that we follow. This is why we often do not bother about no trespassing signs and cut across a rectangle diagonally, thereby creating a path even though it is someone's private property. And once there is a path, a right to it also seems to be established. This is what is meant by the term grandfather rights. We also see evidence that convenience is one's nature wherever there is a sign saying post no bills. There will even be a bill stuck right on top of the very sign, perhaps so that the problem will disappear. Thus, convenience is often the governing factor. We want what is convenient, what is pleasant. Easy gratification is exactly what human beings go for. If some work, pain, or effort is involved, we want to avoid it. The human disposition is like that, going after easy, quick gratification, wanting only what pays off immediately. This is our nature. We have therefore created in ourselves a number of raga dveshas, which prompt us to perform various actions that are not often in keeping with dharma and adharma. To go against Dharma, the Lord, is to go against the order that is the Lord, and that this is adharma. Doing one's own duties is worship. Since the creation operates according to this same order, there is definitely a reason that you were born. Your parents may not have wanted you, but somehow you were born. Even if you feel unwanted, still you are here because without you, this world is definitely incomplete. That is why you are here. It is as simple as that. If you see a purpose in everything in the world, why should you take your presence in this big politic of humanity as anything other than important? Even in your own body politic, everything has a role to play. Just as a tree is there, you are also there. You are important. You have roles to play and things to do. Ishvara's job is going on, and you are a cog in his wheel. This being the case, naturally, you have to do your job. You have to know that at this time and place, this is the job that you have to do. This is called swakarma. Just as every animal and every tree contributes to this great creation, you too make your contribution. Whatever be your job, your swakarma, that very karma becomes an offering to Ishvara. Offerings to the Lord need not always be in the form of flowers. Bhagavan says that by doing what is to be done by you at a given time, you are worshipping the Lord. Because of your recognition of Ishvara, whatever action you perform is your contribution, your offering, archana to the Lord. You offer your actions unto the Lord, who is in the form of the creation and who continues to do the job of creation. You are one of his limbs. You perform your role, which is an important one. Otherwise, you would not be here. This is something like a symphony orchestra where, even though it looks as though some of the musicians could be removed, each person has a significant role to play according to the composer. One person may only play one note every 15 minutes, but that is his or her role to play in the overall scheme of things. Similarly, each of you has your own job to do, and when you do it, you are in harmony with Ishvara, the Lord. This is why, whenever you do exactly what you have to do, you find satisfaction. Even if it is something you do not want to do, once you do it, you feel great about it. Why? Because you are in harmony with Ishvara. Recognizing this, you become a yogi. This recognition is not an ordinary thing, it is a vision. To be in harmony with the world, with what is to be done, with the law of dharma that governs all karma, is karma yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Therefore, you choose your karmas recognizing Ishvara as dharma. Then your actions become a form of archana to Ishvara. This attitude results in antakarana shuddhi, purification of the mind. Once this happens, it takes no time at all for self knowledge, jnana to take place. Since antakarana shuddhi is all that is required, all the steps have been completed. Karma yoga, antakarana shuddhi, and jnana. These steps are mentioned throughout the Gita, and Shankara also mentions them repeatedly in his Bhashya. Through karma yoga, the mind is purified, and when the mind is pure, knowledge takes place and moksha is gained. Karma yoga, therefore, is for moksha alone. I'm going to read these few paras one more time, and then we'll do some manana. So, doing one's own duties is worship. And we saw what this convenience is. Only human beings are not programmed.
That's like animals do what they're supposed to do, but humans, they try to do whatever they want, right? Instead of taking um, like the trespassing the sign, right? Yeah, convenience, right?
So, there are few things here that we need to, which are useful for manana. One is that human beings are not programmed. Why? Because we don't do things just instinctively. We also have this capacity, this intellect that has this decision making capacity. We have a free will which keeps us apart from animals and all other creatures in the world. So we have a free will, we have a self image. So therefore we get into this thing of what will others think. And half the time what we do is to fit into and please others. We want to get into the good books of others. So rather than take your take your mind to the the previous paragraphs where the frogs, they come together, they make a concert, they go on croaking. A cow moos, a dog barks. They don't take permission. They have, and they're not worried about what others will think. But we as humans, we have this self image, and we continue to protect that self image. And in order to protect that self image, we may tend to do things which are not to be done, but we end up doing. Why? Because we have this raga for the self image. We want to maintain it. So, in the process of growth, we pick up a lot of ragas and dveshas, which become the governing factor, which become the deciding factor. So, whatever action we do, if we are doing it through the screen, through the filter of raga dvesha, then we We are not doing things according to what needs to be done, but we are doing things according to our raga dveshas. But if we do things which have to be done without this filter of raga dvesha, and we're doing it as an act of worship to the Lord, that becomes purifying internally. It tends to neutralize the raga dveshas, create that antakarana shuddhi. And just doing things that have to be done without recognizing Ishvara becomes, you become an ethical person. Just like how we had simple samatva with respect to the results of the action. If you do not recognize Ishvara, it is only simple samatva. But when you recognize Ishvara, the results take on the status of being a prasada. So there is that sanctity, that respect that comes in. That honor comes in. And you deal it with that same thing, like how we bring in the aspect of Ishvara even with respect to what we have to do, which amounts to our swakarma. Then you become a yogi. Anyone wants to share anything? I think someone is sharing screen there. I think I don't know how to stop that.
And also he says, wherever we are in this cosmic puzzle, that's where we are supposed to be. Like in the cog, like this symphony, like this, reference. Though the person plays once in 15 minutes for single note, he is also important.
Yeah, this is the aspect of, see, when we start comparing ourselves to others, then there may be this problem of feeling unimportant or over important. You may end up with having a complex, superiority or inferiority complex. So that is where you recognize that you are part of the creation. You have a role to play. Everybody has a role to play. And recognizing that you are important, not that you are not important. There are two beautiful knowledge sheets from um, that Gurudev has given us. One is convenience and commitment, and the second one is that you are important. Every stone is precious. In the making of a temple, the foundation is important as the steps are, as important as the deity is. So everybody is important. The problem comes when we start comparing ourselves. So recognizing that you have a role to play, given that time, place, and situation, recognizing that is what is right and what is wrong, what needs to be done, and just not doing it mechanically, but doing it as an offering, as worshipping, as an act of worship to Ishvara. Let's just deliberate on this. How making it an act of worship makes it different, rather than just doing it mechanically. If what needs to be done needs to be done and you do it, and you don't recognize Ishvara, how is that different? If we deliberate on this, do some manana on this, then it will become a part of us, and then we'll be able to use that. That jnana becomes vijnana. 1 second, huh?
Yeah, Gurudev. The question the point you raised, rather, Dr. Brahmra, I was just thinking like we, at this level, we have that Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, but when we do our daily jobs or all the activities which we do, we are just doing them in that mechanical fashion that we have to do without taking them as a burden or complaining. That is not there. But we are doing it mechanically. Though we recognize Ishvara, we are gaining this knowledge, but still it is not coming. That first attitude that we are doing with that as an offering to the God, doing every job, doing every activity as an offering to God. So that is still like I'm talking about myself, that is not still coming. So what I was just thinking over, that it is again that abhyasa needs to be more strengthened, and it is an abhyasa and vairagya both, because vairagya to a little extent is there, but that abhyasa uh, of doing every activity first as an offering to the God, and just memorizing that thought that this job I am doing for you, for the God. So that still it needs to be made into a practice. And I don't find any other way to implement my any activity to like it cannot be done until unless I have that much of antakarna shuddhi. So it is still that cleaning process happening, though we recognize, but still we are not doing as an offering to him. First memorizing him and then doing. That is not happening. So I think that over a period of time, that this knowledge, being in this knowledge and doing that manana, um, that like you're washing your, like you're cleaning your this thing, whole relearning what you were doing before, you are again relearning. So my observation is this.
Yeah, correct, Dr. Savita. But then I also feel it's every moment we must have that thought. But but if you're consciously working and with 100% like involvement, like you are doing it because it has to be done. So in that attitude, you're not probably saying everything. I mean, in the morning when you wake up, we always pray, right? I mean, and you do that evening prayer or whatever. But then in between, this is to be done type of job, right? Like, so I'm wondering how are we going to uh, do that, even remembering every time, it's um, you know what I'm saying, like if you're doing it consciously itself that worshiping the Lord. That's what we also read somewhere. With you do that action with the dharma, and then that itself like worshiping the Lord.
I also wanted to put something like as Maharaji and Dr. Savita has said that yes, we do our everyday duties mechanically, but I feel in doing the duties where we find little difficulty in doing, where we are unable to do or our emotions are being disturbed, then maybe on that platter we remember God. It's all Ishvara's doing. He's making us do. Otherwise, mechanically, we are just going on doing it.
But that's a
That's
thing, right? When you do it with the enjoyment, like not you had to be. I mean, it has to be done by you. On top of it, you don't feel angry or remorseful doing that job. As far as that's what I'm thinking, if you
yeah.
do it, yeah, not you, even if you're
And
doing routine work, right, like cleaning your house or cooking every day, which is routine things for us, like taking bath and doing all the stuff that you need to do. But those things are, even though routine, yeah, if you'd be nice sometimes you like to have somebody else do it for you, but then there
but
isn't
then
anybody.
with this knowledge,
Hmm.
awareness, it comes to you that remembering Ishvara for every act of work you're
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Yeah,
it makes a difference.
it's true, and it's supposed to be in your back of your mind all the time, and thinking about Ishvara. or everything you do it with that piety in your mind,
Yeah,
then it becomes natural, right? It's
yeah,
not like
I
we have to
agree.
be specifically thinking about it or specifically do
Mhm.
something like that.
As
You're
they say now,
naturally.
as
Hmm.
we all know, we remember Ishvara in our difficult doings, not in the
Yeah,
easy everyday
that
chores.
it does make sense. Then you making more prayer. But as we are reading this again and again, what happens? At least that's how I feel. We can do this as Ishvara Buddhi and take the results as,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
with
mean,
the.
thanks to Brahmraji, that with
Mm.
listening with knowledge, I'm getting more consciously aware about um, God's doing, and that's how it's going into deep, and that's how I am become. Thank you.
So, this recognition is not an ordinary thing. I'm going to read this part one more time. You perform your role, which is an important one, otherwise, you would not be here. 1 second. See, offerings to the Lord. I'm just going to read this part one more time. Since doing one's own duties is worship, since the creation operates according to the same order, there is definitely a reason that you were born. Your parents may not have wanted you, but somehow you were born. Even if you feel unwanted, still you are here because without you, this world is definitely incomplete. That is why you are here. It is as simple as that. If you see a purpose in everything in the world, why should you take your presence in this big politic of humanity as anything other than important? Even in your own body politic, everything has a role to play. Just as a tree is there, you are also there. You are important. You have roles to play and things to do. Ishvara's job is going on, and you are a cog in his wheel. This being the case, naturally you have to do your job. You have to know that at this time and place, this is the job that you have to do. This is called swakarma. Just as every animal and every tree contributes to this great creation, you too make your contribution. Whatever be your job, your swakarma, that very karma becomes an offering to Ishvara. Offerings to the Lord need not always be in the form of flowers. Bhagavan says that by doing what is to be done by you at a given time, you are worshipping the Lord. Because of your recognition of Ishvara, whatever action you perform is your contribution, your offering, archana to the Lord. You offer your actions unto the Lord, who is in the form of the creation and who continues to do the job of creation. You are one of his limbs. You perform your role, which is an important one. Otherwise, you would not be here. This is something like a symphony orchestra where, even though it looks as though some of the musicians could be removed, each person has a significant role to play according to the composer. One person may only play one note every 15 minutes, but that is his or her role to play in the overall scheme of things. Similarly, each of you has your own job to do, and when you do it, you are in harmony with Ishvara, the Lord. This is why, whenever you do exactly what you have to do, you find satisfaction. Even if it is something you do not want to do, once you do it, you feel great about it. Why? Because you are in harmony with Ishvara. Recognizing this, you become a yogi. So, aligning ourselves to the role we have to play in this huge scheme of things, and then doing it with as an act of worship. This recognition is not an ordinary thing, it is a vision.
Sorry, can you say that again, Dr. Pramana? So you were saying.
Yeah, so aligning ourselves with the vision, with the role and purpose that we are here for.
Yeah.
That gives us that to do what is to be done at a given time and place. Then we are in total alignment with nature. We are in alignment with the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what is happening? You're aligning to raga dveshas.
Mm.
So because you're in harmony with Ishvara, you feel great about it. I think somewhere before, maybe in the beginning, Swamiji was saying, if you have to clean up your shelf and you've kept putting it off and you finally do it, you feel very good. You feel satisfied. So to be in harmony with the world, with what is to be done, with the law of dharma that governs all karma, is karma yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Therefore, you choose your karmas recognizing Ishvara as dharma. Then your actions become a form of archana to Ishvara. This attitude results in antakarana shuddhi, purification of the mind. Once this happens, it takes no time at all for self-knowledge jnana to take place. Since antakarana shuddhi is all that is required, all the steps have been completed. Karma yoga, antakarana shuddhi, and jnana. These steps are mentioned throughout the Gita, and Shankara also mentions them repeatedly in his Bhashya. Through Karma Yoga, the mind is purified. And when the mind is pure, knowledge takes place and moksha is gained. Karma Yoga, therefore, is for moksha alone. So, what are the steps that? Number one is we need to prioritize. What are we here for? That is, are we here to satisfy our artha kama, or are we on this path for moksha? So once you've kept that as priority, like Charna would say, you're top on the list. How do we go about doing things? Is we prioritize what is to be done first, what is to be done next. So top on the list, if moksha has to be on top of your list. So once you have that clarity inside, that you're here not just to eat, sleep, make merry, then you've got on to the path, number one. And then once there, whatever is to be done as per priority, as per the time and place and situation you're in, doing it recognizing Ishvara. doing it as an act of worship. That is the whole thing about that yajna bhava. And the next verse is Durena Hyavaram Karma Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha Kripana Phalahetavaha. I'll just read the transliteration. Action based on desire is therefore far inferior to that performed with the proper attitude of Karma Yoga. Seek refuge in this Buddhi Yoga of proper attitude, O Dhananjaya. Those who perform action only for the results are misers. We'll take this up tomorrow. So we'll stop here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Accept those parts of the body where you feel a tension. The other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.